Steve Snap, an easy-peasy person from Easy-Peasy Island in the middle of the terrific ocean, by Roger Hargreaves and Gray Joliffe. We would like you to say G'day to Steve Snap, the easy-peasy crocodile. He lives in Lockjaw Cottage in the evergreen Everglades on Easy-Peasy Island in the middle of the terrific ocean. I bet you're wondering why Steve Snap is called Steve Snap. Well, here's the thing. Steve gets his last name not because he snaps his jaws, but because he can snap his fingers. I don't suppose you can snap your fingers too. Can you try it? And when Steve snaps his fingers, the most incredible things can happen just like that. And let me tell you something, no other croc in the universe could ever do that. Except for another croc from another island. So I'm sure you all know who that is, don't you? But back on topic. If Steve was walking along the Everglades and was feeling hot and bothered, he would snap his fingers like so. And what should appear in his hand but a glass of juice? Then he would drink it all up and click his fingers again, so that the glass vanished into thin air. Isn't that remarkable? Now, this story begins one morning when Steve was fast asleep in bed. He woke up, went to the bathroom, washed his face and cleaned all those teeth of his with a king-size toothbrush. Then he went downstairs to his kitchen, sat down at his empty table and snapped those magic fingers of his. In an instant, what should appear on the table but warm buttered toast, a boiled egg and a hot cup of tea. "Crikey!" exclaimed Steve. "Just look at this! I'm in for a feast!" Then he suddenly remembered something. "But of course," he said, snapped his fingers again, and what should appear in his hands but a set of cutlery to eat his breakfast with. After he finished his hearty breakfast, he snapped his fingers once again, and just like that, the empty plate, cup and egg cup disappeared into thin air. Incredible, I know. Then Steve set off for a walk around the evergreen Everglades. On his way, he met Willie Woof, the easy-peasy dog. He too was on his way through the Everglades. "G'day, Willie, mate," greeted Steve. "All right, Steve, mate," replied Willie. "How you doing, me old mate?" "Not too bad, cobber," replied Steve. "It's a whacking good day, isn't it?" "It was earlier," replied Willie, pointing up at the sky, "but now it's all grey." Steve Snap looked up at the grey sky, and it began to rain. "Gordon bloomin' Bennett!" exclaimed Willie Woof. "Let's find somewhere to seek shelter." "No need for that, mate," replied Steve, and snapped his fingers, and 2 umbrellas appeared in his and Willie's hands. "Cool, blimey," thought Willie. "It must be fun to snap your fingers and have things come out of nowhere." Then they decided to walk all the way to Fiddlestick Cottage where Willie Woof lives. I bet you're wondering why Steve and Willie went there. Well, here's the thing. Willie didn't know it was going to rain, and it was lucky he met Steve, who snapped his magic fingers and made 2 umbrellas appear, one for him and one for Willie. That and Willie would be soaked to the skin if it hadn't been for Steve. When they were inside, Willie said, "Oh, cheers, Steve, me old mate. Here's your spare umbrella." "No worries, Willie, mate," replied Steve, snapping his fingers again and making the umbrellas vanish. "How would you like to stay a while?" asked Willie. "Bonza, mate," replied Steve. "That would be well good." So Willie Woof put the kettle on and made 2 cups of tea, one for him and one for Steve. When they had drank their tea up, Willie asked, "So, Steve, what do you fancy doing?" "I'll tell you what, Willie, mate," replied Steve. "I've got a bonza game to play." And he snapped those magic fingers of his, and a pack of cards appeared in his hand. "Cool, blimey," gasped Willie for the second time that day. And they set up the cards and began to play a game. What kind of a game, I hear you ask? Go on, have a guess. No. Not poker. No, not Texas Hold'em. No, not blackjack. No, not solitaire. You give up yet? Okay, I'll tell you. The name of the game they were playing is called... You ready for this? Snap! Bonza, mate! I won that time! Well, would you? Adam and Evie.